perhaps could pay such a group to study Liberty and the marina. I thought that's what we were, a part of this. So what are we doing wrong that he would look over our heads?
So I'll give you my 30-second answer,
Okay.
and then I will let staff give you an answer as well. I know that we had another firm, a private firm, come in and help us with the charrette for the downtown. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. That's not unheard of,
Oh,
and a lot of times what it does is it allows that impartial third party to really explore the options for a piece of land, and they often will come up with suggestions that maybe those so closely tied to it don't see. And so that would be my guess as to why that was presented, but if you have something else to add.
Sure, no, I think that's exactly the reason that cities often get a third party. Number one, they have great experiences in other parts of the country doing similar things. They can bring new, fresh ideas, perhaps that we're not familiar with. And so we did two different things downtown. One was the charrette, and then the second thing was a vision plan. And again, it's bringing fresh ideas, experiences from other parts of the country.
And how do we approach that so that perhaps we would like to delay that process for now and just keep it in-house for a little bit? Do we just directly approach Bateman, or do we?
If you have that opinion, I think you should share it with your council member.
Sharon.
I guess I just wanted to clarify for my own self as well as with your question. My understanding of our process and what we're here for relates to the overall updating of the city's comprehensive plan. I mean, I don't believe that we are here to specifically address the exact best use for anything. I think until the planning commission has a project or has something brought to them where they can actually vote and have a public hearing, there really is no way for us to talk about a project at the city farm, and I don't think we should get too far afield on that. Certainly I'd like to think we can talk about how we'd like the land use designated.
Right.
We already have zoning.
Well, and I think going back to Flora's comment about some of the commentary was zoning related, some of it was land use related. I think you're correct. We need to just decide as a body when that time comes, what's the best blanket land use to put over that piece of property, such that decisions can be made.
But I don't think it's up to us to determine if the council wants to hire a group to come in and look at the park like they've done with other areas of the city. I don't think that's why we're here. I mean, I don't feel like that's my role
Okay,
on
I
this.
kind of disagree. I understand, but I think we do have the ability to do some of that. We're not trained like Rodney is. But we have the ability to do some of that. For example, we had a student from Hampton University give the slideshow, was that who it was, with the farmer's market?
Yes.
And ideas like that. But again, he's not a professional coming from the outside and saying this best suits his land use, but he actually was, he had some good ideas.
Right.
That's kind of on a different level, and it's important to hear that, but where else can we get those ideas that are free? You don't have to spend money.
Okay. So I'm gonna answer Beth, and then I'm gonna go to Dr. Dawson.
Okay.
So Beth.
And I think in the paperwork that we had talked about making recommendations that some places needed to be revisited. We had talked about
That's
that.
the word I wanted, recommendation.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is something that's going to be in this document to recommend them or not recommend them.
But I
So I
don't
think
think
it-
we're talking specifics. I mean, that's what.
No, not specifics, but she was saying, is there a way to put it off from this level? If you're making recommendations to have it looked at in the document, I would think you could also make recommendations not to have it looked at.
And that
I
could
mean,
just be
that's-
a difference of.
I think we may need some staff direction on that when we get to that point,
Right.
but we're gonna have to come to a general consensus of how we wanna go with that. So having heard both of those, I'm going to go to Dr. Dawson.
Thank you, ma'am. 2 points. I couldn't disagree with Ms. Fox more. I think she's totally out of line. And,
We're keeping it,
and
we're
the
keeping
second,
it as
the second thing was,
non-prominent.
at the meeting, which Madam was giving, the 2 members of the council suggested that they have a meeting, a movement saying that the city farm should remain green as of July the 1st. And that was put in almost as a motion. And certainly Ms. Vick agreed, and Marcellus, I was talking to him in the corner, he didn't.
Okay, then that's a discussion for council. I mean,
Yeah,
if they
but that's
decide
from-
on
that
something
was
in
from 2 members
council,
of council.
prior to us deciding on something, I don't know what to say about that. Yes, sir, Mr. Hopkins.
So after all the recommendations and the studies and everything, who has final say?
Council.
That's what
Yes, sir, Mr. Hopkins. I'm going to go with the but
Well,
so I'll call.
my thought that keeps in my head is this, and that is that, like Sharon, I think our role here in the end is that we are to look at and come up with ideas and recommendations. But if we think that the council is going in a direction, we can at least say it, even though they don't have to pay us any attention. But that the idea is that if we feel that the council is going in a direction that we think that they should not go, we would at least say it and put it on the record that that is what we feel.
Absolutely. I also think to kind of go with a little bit of what Ms. Fox said and a little bit of what Mr. Allen said, we can say we think it should be and give it a land use. We as a group cannot say we think you should have a bake shop, a restaurant, and a fishing. That's not for this group, and that might be for an outside third-party consultant. But we can say we want it public land, park, whatever, or we want it to be mixed-use residential. That's for us to say.
Yes.
Okay. Did I get both of you in there together
Well
somehow?
said, Deidre, well
Okay.
said.
I try. Sometimes I can get all the pieces put together. The public is not a part of our conversation. Oh, I'm sorry. Why are you back there? There's spots at the table.
I'm leaving early, so I
You
didn't want to be
can
interrupting.
sit at the big
I'll move
person's
forward
table.
and join the
I
crowd.
thought so. Somebody raised his hand. I was like, what?
I just wanted to clarify. So we're submitting our opinion, and the city council is going to choose it, or what we say goes. That's what I'm curious about.
I'm going to turn that one over.
I'm sorry.
Say that again.
With all this city farm zoning, we submit our idea, that's approved, or it goes through a whole nother,
Zoning is zoning, it's separate.
the zoning, okay, whatever.
Okay?
Right.
Your recommendation is land use, and the land use is a comprehensive plan, essentially, that designates land to be used in certain ways. So your consolidated opinion goes to the planning commission, they make a recommendation to city council, and they vote on it. So the final say is city council.
And here's how that, you say, in general, here's how we want the city to be. And then the city has other tools to accomplish and implement. If you read through chapter 5, you saw where all the implementation tools are. One of those is zoning. So zoning then can change to accomplish whatever that land use recommendation is.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
One second. I will recognize the people who have their hands up. I would like to note that we have business still to discuss. So I would like to give us maybe another 10 minutes on city farm topics, and then we're moving on. Is that okay? I think that will allow everybody else their time. Mr. Long.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
The process I was wanting to talk about earlier occurred last meeting, most recent last meeting, when the staff told us that there would be no more changes to the documents. That what we were going to receive was what we were going to receive, and there would be nothing new or no changes made by this group. Now, that's what I got.
I didn't hear that. That's not what I understood.
Nobody else heard that but me?
Just you, Joe.
It was special for you.
I should
No,
have woke up earlier.
Mr. Lemon, all joking aside, I think you may have misunderstood something that was said, because I know that Britta talked about not making any other changes to the document after she gave it to us, such that any changes made from this point forward were with our input. And I believe that's what she said. Ish.
Yeah.
Okay,
Angela?
so, yes, ma'am, please.
What she was referring to was changing the demographics, going back, changing the socioeconomic and the existing conditions, which was chapters 1 through 4. That's what she was talking about.
Because data comes in all the time, and
Yeah.
there's just a point where you have to stop bringing
You have to
in
stop.
new data.
So it was 1 through 4, but 5 and 6 are still up.
5 and
Yes.
6, 5 and 6 are what we're here for.
Right.
Angela called it the meat and potatoes. 5 and 6 is our meat and potatoes.
Thank you.
1 through 4 may still change in terms of demographic information on the city, current housing information on the city. And what Britta was saying is that she needs to actually pick a point in time and say, as of June 1, 2017, this is the current information we're calling in the plan. And we're not changing it for new status and new data that comes in at office.
For 1 and 4, that's fine, that's a lot of fluff.
Right, no. But 5 and 6 are what we're here to talk about eventually. We're gonna get there, I
I
promise.
love it.
Okay, Mr. Gray, 1 second, because Mr. Carpenter had his hand up first. Yes, sir. Mr. Carpenter.
Regarding the process, it's important to note that when this group is finished with the document and it goes to the Planning Commission, it is a public hearing, which also means, oh, by the way, since we've been talking about City Farm, if this group says, yeah, City Farm really needs to be mixed use, you can still come out and say, this is the craziest thing ever. You still have a chance to speak. Planning Commission can do what they generally do. We can accept it as is. We can accept it with some modifications and send it to City Council. We can reject it, say it's horrible, and send it to City Council. We also can remand it back to the Planning Department, in which case I'm assuming it would come here. So there are other options that can happen there. Just trying to get your process a little bit more in hand. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Gray.
I don't have a problem with an outside consultant group if I was competent, that would be impartial. But from what I was hearing and seeing, this group would be headed towards a foregone conclusion. Now, the way we did it in the past, we had the minstrel study. If I miss any, Mike, let me know. We had the Riverview Farm Park study. We had the Marina study, all with citizen and city participation. I don't know that the Marina one was ever approved, but it's never been implemented. What was appointed by City Council was a task force, Riverview Farm Park task force, and we did the details. We designed the trails, we physically walked them, we designed and helped build the playground and so forth and so forth. Every aspect was a citizen
Okay.
city group. We met for 10 years until we were dismissed for disapproving housing in the city farm. But that's a process that I would recommend again. It's a committee, and then they report to, higher authority. But we were in business for 10 years, and I think we did pretty good.
Yes, you did. All right, are there any other comments to be made City Farm-wise at this point? Knowing we're going to revisit City Farm again, we are by no means done with this particular topic, but in the essence of trying to move on, or the interests of trying to move on with our agenda, are there any other comments? Mr. Gray.
One kind of comment. If you look closely at the land use maps, I know we're not in land use, and let's say water quality or green space or whatnot, Riverview Farm Park is clearly green. However, if you cross the fence on the city farm and move 1 foot, it's no longer water quality, it's no longer, protect the environment, it's no longer whatever. Suddenly, that 1 foot difference changes what's shown on the map. So indeed, it's not shown as green on the maps I saw.
Not currently, and Flora said that, it's not currently. The current map shows it as under study.
But I don't understand the difference 1 foot makes. You're either interested in water quality or you're not.
I don't think it's a water quality issue. I think that's a different issue. It's a land use issue. I don't think it's a water quality issue.
Well, look at the maps.
Okay, and we will be looking at it. So I'd like to move on. We're going to cover any changes that we have